Tonight on Instagram stories and TikTok. It's that, it's that time again. I'll be doing a Q&A tonight on Instagram stories and TikTok. So if you'd like to ask me, Gia Savoki, a certified dog behavior consultant and professional dog trainer, a question about dog training and behavior or what I do, let's do it. You can post your questions right in my Instagram stories, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can tonight. The easiest way to go about this is to get a good mentor. I really like Karen Pryor Academy, but if you know a good trainer or behavior consultant in your area that has great credentials, I would consider asking them if they would be willing to have you shadow them. For this issue, my favorite game to play is Absolute Dogs DMT or Look at That Game. What you do is when your dog looks at or notices a distraction, like another dog, you're going to say yes and then reward them with a treat. So you're rewarding them for noticing the other dog. Crates are an essential tool for a hyperactive dog. If your dog can't self-calm down, it's really important that you give them a way to calm down, and crating them for several hours a day is one way to teach them how to settle on their own. My opinion is this is what I do. I try to make my dogs work for all of their food. That's because I have high drive border collies and I work a lot and I want to provide them with as much enrichment as possible. I would only use a tool like this if all other options had been exhausted, as I am a Lima trainer. So if your dog is a puppy, I don't think that all other options have been exhausted, and I would not be using this tool. A mix of raw food, kibble, cooked food, dog treats, and freeze-dried food and air-dried food. I don't just stick to any one thing. Just like I eat a wide variety of foods, my dogs eat a wide variety of foods, and I feed my puppies puppy food. For that behavior, I interrupt and redirect with treats, or I will walk some puppies on a chain leash. And then they stop biting it. Once they outgrow that behavior, we reintroduce all the other leashes that we have. I work on with my brand new puppies is crate training, working for their food puzzle toys, and then I'll do some name game and eye contact. And those are the things I focus on for the first week. My thoughts on electric collars is that I personally do not use them. However, I have friends and colleagues that do, and I am not against what other people do. I also should add that I do see e-collars being used and abused by unskilled trainers and owners, and in the wrong hands, an electric collar can be very dangerous and very damaging, even permanently damaging to a dog. If my dog is getting loud and annoying when I'm working with them, I typically will just walk away. However, sometimes this is because you may not be communicating well with your dog. So I do recommend that you video your training sessions to see if you're miscommunicating and if that is making your dog frustrated. With any kind of aggression, I recommend that you hire an IAABC certified behavior consultant or somebody with a really good reputation in your area. However, the book Mine by Jean Donaldson is an excellent resource with a plan that goes through this problem. I'm not a vet, but yes, dogs can eat snow in small quantities. It is safe unless the snow has some chemicals or road salt in it. And eating too much could cause them to drop their body temperature or could cause them to get water intoxication. If a dog is over-aroused and not enjoying the walk, then I think a decompression walk would be tricky to have. So if you know a place where your dog is decompressing on the walk, that's great. But if your dog is aroused on any walk, then I don't think it's good. I recommend researching cooperative care techniques, and you can also get the book by Deb Jones on cooperative care. It goes through plans for slowly habituating your dog to different husbandry things, slow and steady for this kind of issue. I think when people attack other trainers and what other trainers are doing, it's really ugly, it's bullying, and it's not my shtick. So I'll be honest here, I would be open-minded to it. However, I have met multiple dogs over the years on vegan foods, and they just did not look thriving to me. Dull coats, overweight, not a fan. Start out by making the dog work for everything. So they should be working for every meal. And you can do scatter feeding, you could do puzzle feeding, you could do feeding in different toys. I would not do training with food yet. I like to do easy stuff like scatter feeding, feeding from a topple, unfrozen at first, or just hand feeding and doing simple things like name game and touch. I also like the green food puzzle. Eye contact, their name. impulse control, boundary games, thinking. And I would say desensitizing them to things that move and living things and sounds. So I practice heavily with my puppies, distraction mark treat from Absolute Dogs. I say yes when they notice something, and then I reward them over and over and over. I've always loved dogs and working with dogs, but I got more serious about dog training when I began working at a dog daycare that also did training, and I had a mentorship with a master trainer. And then from there, I began really heavily studying. So I think a lot of dogs are like people. I don't like nightclubs. I would hate to go to a nightclub. I'd be really upset if somebody forced me to go to a nightclub. I would only do it if it was an absolute requirement. And so I think for your dog, maybe do one-on-one playtimes. I can only tell you what I personally do, and what I personally do is have puppy play dates with other puppies that have at least one vaccine or adult dogs that have their shots, and I heavily socialize my puppies to other dogs starting on day one. With a friendly puppy, what I'll do is put them on a harness and then step on the leash to anchor them to the ground so that they physically cannot jump, and I will also reward them for sitting when they do sit when greeting people. Yes, it is okay to cover the crate to help your puppy calm down. Just make sure that they don't eat at the blanket. That could be dangerous. And if they do, you can always put a piece of cardboard on top of the crate and then drape the blanket over the cardboard to keep the blanket away from the sides and top of the crate. If a dog is biting, you have to call a professional. We don't try to fix these behaviors on our own. So I would call an IAABC certified professional or find somebody that is very well recommended in your area, because when we have biting, that is a liability. If a dog I'm working with starts having a meltdown, what I do is remove them from the situation. So if I'm with a dog that is reacting on the leash, I will pull them away to a safe spot to allow them to calm down. Sometimes I'll try to redirect them with food, depends. Best food puzzle toys. My favorite food puzzle toy is the West Paw Topple. I also like the Star Mark bumper ball. It's yellow and green and shaped like a cube. I use it all the time for kibble. Not gonna lie, I sleep at pretty odd hours. I can coach people virtually via Zoom or FaceTime, and it's something I really enjoy doing. Well, everyone has a price, and I do go into the city for consults sometimes. I also do Zoom consultations, and people love them. I have clients all over the world, and it's been really, really popular lately. I treat this the same way that I treat dogs barking at animals on walks. The cool thing about barking at the TV is we can start with the TV muted, so we can separate out visual and auditory, and we can also move the dog far away from the TV to start desensitizing. In the beginning, when I'm crate training new puppies, I will let them cry it out in the crate for up to 20 minutes. If the puppy is crying for like a half hour, an hour, then I like to rethink what I'm doing, but I think most puppies will settle down. This tip for any multi-dog household is that you crate your dogs or separate them for a lot of the day. It can't be just a free-for-all with dogs bothering each other all the time. They need downtime, they need stress-free time, so I separate my dogs. For a puppy that small, and for most puppies, I do like to use Stella and Chewy's freeze-dried meals, and I will just use it as a meal replacer.